unique opportunity to show students how to make pretty things out of dirt. And you're going to get that chance today too. I'm also going to let you know a few ways that you can incorporate art in your classrooms to make learning more fun, engage the student, and allow a deeper understanding from all types of learners. Let's get started. Have you ever thought to yourself, why do we even have ceramics? Or my personal favorite, it's just ceramics. But the truth is that this and any art class offers students the ability to think outside the box, improve their decision-making skills, increase confidence, and learn how to collaborate as a group in a studio environment. All real-world skills that they'll use when they enter the workforce. Learning how to make choices and decisions will certainly carry over into education and other areas of life, as it's certainly a valuable skill in adulthood. In fact, a report by Americans for the Arts states that young people who participate regularly in the arts are 4 times more likely to be recognized for their academic achievement, to participate in a math or science fair, and win an award for writing an essay or poem than children who do not participate. Some ways that you might incorporate art in your classroom might include having students write a script or a song, a work of art, or even a dance to connect the material on a deeper level. Having students write a PSA, create a poster or brochure, or introducing students to artistic works that match your curriculum are all ways that you can connect your material visually so students can learn in a variety of ways. As a visual learner myself, I sometimes struggled with the lecture-style classroom and traditional paper and pencil assessments. But I excelled in classes where I could show my learning through means like projects, posters, and plays. I encourage you to pick up a handout on the front table, which explores a variety of ways you might be able to include art in your everyday class curriculum to make your lessons more powerful. I'm always here to offer supplies, guidance, and encouragement if you decide to give it a try. Now, for the fun stuff. A few things you need to know about clay in 30 seconds or less. 1, it's messy. 2, it dries. 3, it'll blow up in the kiln if it's too thick, about a ½ inch at the most. And 4, it softens when it gets wet. That's about it. That's all you need to know. Now you're a pro. Now let's make a pinch pot. Today we're going to make a simple pinch pot. Pinching is one of the 3 main hand building techniques that students learn in Ceramics 1 to learn how to make a hollow form. The first thing you're going to want to do when you get your clay out is to wedge it. Wedging makes the clay more pliable, it ensures uniform consistency, and removes air pockets as well as hard spots in the clay before you use or reuse the clay for a project. You wedge the clay by forming it into a ball, placing your hands together like a butterfly, and pressing down and forward with the heel of your hands. And then you pull back with your fingertips. Down and forward and pull back. Down and forward and pull back. You're going to want to do this about 15 to 20 times until you have a nice, even, soft ball of clay. You want to form it into a snowball. You simply will use the heel of your hand to pat it together to create a nice, perfect, even ball. Once you have a nice round ball of clay, you're ready to create your pinch pot. You want to use your dominant thumb to locate the center of the ball and push your thumb down to make a hole, leaving about a ½ inch from the bottom of the clay ball. From there, you're simply going to want to use your thumb like a shovel and pull up on the walls while pinching together your thumb and forefingers. By placing your other hand on the outside of your pot, you could protect the outer edge from getting all these pocket marks. You'll simply pull your clay up and then rotate it around. And you're going to pull up and rotate, pull up and rotate. So you're just shoveling the clay on the outside of your clay ball up the walls to create a hollow form. Once you get the pinch pot to a general shape that you're going for, you're going to want to make your opening nice and even. If you have any little areas that are a little bit thinner than others, you could simply just take a small ball of clay and sort of patch it up a little bit. By putting a tiny bit of soft clay in there, you can start to see how you can really make the opening nice and even on the inside edge and the outside edge. Some other tools you might want to try are the medium loop tool, which has a rounded edge and a squared off edge. Sometimes if you have a little bump, you may decide to actually pull it away by simply carving it back off to create a nice even opening all the way around. Another thing you want to focus on is it being level all the way across, removing any of these bumps that might form. Like I mentioned earlier, the table sometimes is a great tool for tapping it a couple of times, or even your squared off side of your loop tool, and pull off some of those bumps to make it nice and even all the way across. Now for the fun part, decorating your piece. Now, in a perfect world, we'd have time on our side and we'd be able to set these up in our lockers overnight for them to lose a little bit of their elasticity and a little bit of their moisture. But since we don't have that luxury, we're just going to do the best we can. Some ways that you could decorate your piece include adding a texture and find something around the room that you like the way it looks when you press it into the surface of your clay pot. This doily here does a great job of adding a lace-like texture to the surface, which looks really fun once you go to glaze it. Other things you could do are take something like the stylus tool and carving into the side of your piece. These clay balls on the edges help to keep the carving marks nice and clean. Following it up with a wet paintbrush always does the trick to smooth out and make nice, even carving lines. One other fun thing you could do is add a three-dimensional element. Here I've cut a star out of some extra clay that I want to attach onto the surface. One thing you need to know about attaching clay to the surface is you'll need to use a process called slipping and scoring. It's quite simple, and it's just a way for it to make sure it attaches to the project. You're going to want to use any tools like a stylus or a needle tool, and you're going to want to scratch up the surface of the clay, both what you want to attach and where you want to attach it. Next, you're going to add slip. Slip essentially is just clay plus water, and it acts like a glue for the project to stick together. So you're going to attach some of the slip on, sort of watery clay, and then you'll simply press the clay object that you want to attach to the surface, making sure to compress out any additional air. But going back in with that wet paintbrush, then you're able to smooth out the edges and make sure it's fully attached all the way around, as well as make it look really nice and clean. So those are a few ways that you might be able to do something fun to your project. One other thing that I like to always mention are the use of pasta letters. Simply pasta letters, we have small and bigger ones, and pressing them into the surface all the way and just leaving them there allows for, once it gets fired, the pasta letters burn away and then the imprint of the letter itself stays in there. So this might be fun if you want to put your name or a song lyric or a quote or something that inspires you.